is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I'm Freddie Wilson. Yes, I know. I didn't do a show last week. I apologize for not telling you. Just wasn't able to happen. So last week I got sick. Was basically in my bed for 2 days. I was not well enough to do the podcast last week, unfortunately. I do think it was karma for not getting my flu shot. So a quick PSA for all the people of Step 1 country. If you haven't already, go get your flu shot. But we do have a great show for you today. My good friend Jermey Spiera is returning to the show. We're going to talk a little bit of NBA action. And of course, we'll do a full recap and preview of the NFL. All right, let's ride. All right, we're going to start with a quick NBA update. We're going to talk a lot more about the NBA with Spiera. But let's do something. I did write this last week, but I feel like we should address it. The Milwaukee Bucks have decided to fire first-year head coach Adrian Griffin and hire Doc Rivers. Again, I know it's old news, but I feel like we should talk about it. I don't understand this at all. First of all, I don't understand why the Bucks fired Mike Budenholzer last year because they got knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. Yes, that did happen. But also, there's a huge asterisk. Giannis was injured. So you can't hate on the Bucks for getting knocked down in the first round when they don't have their best player for a good portion of that series. So this season, the Bucks are second in East for having a good season, but for some reason they feel like firing a coach mid-season is the move. Doc Rivers is a great choice, and I think the Bucks will be a very scary team in the playoffs. All right, let's talk about the NFL. Moving into Championship Sunday, the last real Sunday of football, by the way. Like Super Bowl Sunday is fun, but this is the last real Sunday of football of the year, which always breaks my heart. But it all started with the Baltimore Ravens struggling significantly on offense for most of the game. They made some mistakes, but it seemed like for most of the game, nothing was working for the Ravens. Meanwhile, for the Chiefs, at least for the start of the game, everything on offense was clicking. The Ravens defense did step up at the end of the game. They started playing well. When the Ravens need a big play, they couldn't find one. And also, Lamar Jackson made a very bad decision by throwing to a receiver who was essentially triple covered, and the pass was inevitably intercepted. So the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes showed us that he is, in fact, a very good football player. And while this was not a great Chiefs team for their standards, he found a way to win games. He got into the playoffs. He won 2 playoff games on the road. And now we're in the Super Bowl. Also, quick message for all the Taylor Swift haters out there. She's not going to be there. She's got Eras tours in Japan. She's not going to be there. Like, it would be a lot for her to get to Vegas from Japan. Again, I could be very wrong, and I'll stand by that. But again, if you're a Taylor Swift hater, which again, why? But if you are a hater, she won't be there. All right, moving into the second game of championship weekend. The 49ers started off really slow, and the Lions looked like they were going to run away with the game. The 49ers defense is very much a defense that plays well when they are ahead, and for most of this game, they were not. So early on, the Lions were doing whatever they wanted on offense. They built a 70-point lead and looked like we were going to finally see the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. However, the 49ers had other plans, and with grit, determination, and a lot of luck, the 49ers found a way to come back and beat the Detroit Lions. Now, there was a lot of luck. Brandon Ayuk caught that ball, it bounced off the guy's face mask, and somehow ended up in Brandon Ayuk's arms for a huge play. Like, that's just luck. But again, the 49ers stepped up, and they were able to use Dan Campbell's aggressive play calling against him because they got 2 very big 4th down stops. Oh, I would say 1 big one. The other one was actually a very good play. Josh Reynolds just straight up dropped it. If he catches that, who knows? Maybe the Lions, we're talking about the Lions in the Super Bowl. You never know. You never know. But the 49ers showed us during these playoffs, they can, in fact, win the close games, and they can find ways to come back when being down. It's going to be an exciting Super Bowl. But first, let's get to my interview with Jermey Spiera. Okay, today we welcome on a very special guest, a 3-time guest. Spiera, how's it going? Welcome back. You're a basketball guy on the show. We always talk about basketball. Let's start with the NBA. Like, how are you feeling about the NBA? We're almost at the All-Star break, kind of. It's a couple weeks. Any teams you're like, wow, that team's really good, or wow, that team really sucks?
I mean, if you want to talk about teams that suck, obviously the Pistons are just terrible. But the team that
The
is
Pistons are the Pistons.
yeah, the teams that are the most exciting though is the Thunder.
Yeah,
You got like the youngest team in the league with crazy amounts of draft picks, and they're winning all these games. Shea is a dog. Chet is still my rookie of the year.
was he a rookie
Dinwiddie-
technically last year, even though he didn't play? So is this
yeah,
his
you can be
real
rookie
rookie
of the
season?
year because he didn't play any games last year. But they got such a young team, which is great, and then they also got someone who loves young people as well, in Josh Giddey. So that's another win.
I was wondering where that was going. We're an anti-Josh Giddey podcast, obviously. I, I
We're
think it was
anti.
Molly who asked me, like, because I kept on saying we're pro everything. She's like, what are you against on this show? We're
But yeah,
anti-Washington Husky, of course.
exactly. No, but the Thunder are a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, like as a Knicks fan, there's been so much going on. I'm a little heartbroken as a Duke Knicks guy, losing RJ, losing quickly. It was probably a win-win. Uh,
I mean, you got OG Ananobi.
yeah, we got OG, and we were probably going to lose quickly anyways because we weren't going to pay him. And you know, it was sad. Like, did you read Quickly's article he wrote in the Players Tribune?
I did not know.
He wrote an article pretty much talking about his career in New York, coming in, being the last guy off the bench in preseason. Yeah, we thought he was going to be a star immediately, and kind of New York humbled him at the beginning a little bit, but they really gave him the opportunities to let himself shine, and he built his career here. It was like one of the more emotional articles I've ever read in the Players Tribune. And it just shows there was such a fun core in New York of guys who loved each other, loved the team, loved the city. And obviously, it hurts to watch that happen, but the Knicks have been winning games since. So, I mean, what can I say?
I mean, but again, they always like win games in the middle of the season. That's how Tom Thibodeau does things. Tom Thibodeau is great at winning those, like, oh, should we ease out the throttle a little bit? It's the middle of a season. And Tom Thibodeau's like, no, we're going to win all these games.
Oh, we have to. We're
I know, but like, he
we're
just
not good enough to.
loves like the game where you think, okay, if we lose one, no big deal. He's like, no, we're winning. We're playing all of our stars. We're playing 40 minutes each one.
Yeah, have you seen the minutes that OG's been playing? He's been playing
Yeah,
like
it's
30
been
plus games
ridiculous.
a game.
Yeah, he's not ready for the Tom Thibodeau system where the starters play and then they inevitably get injured. And then if they make a deep playoff run, half their roster's injured.
Wait, Tibbs has never had any star players get injured.
You're being sarcastic.
Yes, I am being sarcastic.
There's a gentleman named Derek Rose who would beg to differ,
Which one of his knees?
which both of them.
Both of them.
I don't know, because like his MVP season was like the year before I really started watching basketball, so I never really got to see prime Derrick Rose
Yeah,
because I missed that like era
he
by a
was so good.
year.
Yeah.
I saw the
Um,
highlights.
well, the highlights pretty much just showed he was faster, quicker, stronger than anyone else on the floor. And what's fun watching him now is you see the transition to becoming a veteran player. You know, he had like a 40-point game last year or 2 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Um, and he's a mid-range dog. He knows how to like use balance. Uh, he's not athletic anymore, and his entire game was athleticism. So big Derrick Rose fan.
speaking about people dropping a
Oh,
lot of
Derrick.
points. Did you see? I mean, we saw Embiid drop 70, Karl-Anthony Towns drop 65, but they lost that game. I actually have a question. What do you think is like a minimum amount of points, like in a high scoring game? Let's say you drop like, I don't know, 40 or 50, where if you lose, it's not cool.
Uh,
Uh,
it really it depends on efficiency. I think if you're shooting inefficiently and you're scoring a ton of points and your team loses, then you're not giving your team the best shots. I don't remember. I don't know what Cat's stat
he had
line was,
65 points.
but I don't know what percentage he was shooting. Joel Embiid was 21 of 23 from the line. I know they won. He was 21 of 23 from the line and like 24 or 41
Mm.
from the field. He only hit 1 3 or something and scored 70 points on like plus 50% shooting. That obviously they won, but if you're shooting that efficiently and scoring that many points, it's hard to really blame you for losing unless there's a specific play that you really messed up at the end. But uh, if you're shooting it efficiently, it's just not that great.
Because I remember when Devin Booker dropped 70 against the Celtics, but the Celtics absolutely blew him out of the water, and they're like partying like they just won the game because Devin Booker scored 70 points.
Yeah, it's
It's still a cool
weird.
accomplishment. It's just also nice to win.
Yeah, so when that college basketball player scored 138 points and he shot like every single possession, is that like obviously it's impressive, but it's also just one of those things where if someone shoots the ball every single possession, they're gonna put up points.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
so
All
I
right,
don't know. Efficiency
college
matters.
basketball. I'm telling you, the Ducks are. I know we had a rough weekend out in the mountains. We lost Colorado, we lost Utah, but like we're legit. I'm telling you,
What are you guys ranked?
we're not ranked.
yeah,
Hey, you don't need to be ranked to make the tournament. All right, we just gotta, we're gonna win games. Arizona's coming to town this weekend. Like we win that game, which we beat them last year, by the way.
you did beat them last
Too
year.
bad no one watched it.
They were not as good last year. Also, they're actually they've been kind of beatable lately.
It's still a notable win. Like in the Pac,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Pac-12, you want to beat Arizona, you want to beat UCLA. We already beat UCLA. We beat USC too, by the way. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Bronny James. No, LeBron was not there.
That's disappointing. Did
Because
Bronny was that like Bronny still recovering from the fact that his heart failed him, or
yeah,
was
so
he?
he was playing limited minutes, but he looked good. But they're not beating teams by like 20. Like we're barely winning these games. But that could come in handy if we make a tournament run.
Yeah, being able to win close games is
Mm,
important. The question is what you want to be, right? If you're a tournament team and you're a 6 through 8 seed, you need to be able to win all these tight games.
yeah.
If you're aiming to be a 4 seed,
Mm,
you need to not turn games into tight games because that's when March Madness magic happens. So I think it depends. I think teams that have that sort of magic are in some ways more well suited for the higher seeds in that sense.
mm. I mean, I just want to make the tournament at this point. Like it's been a couple years. And I just like, with the guys we should be able to get, I don't understand why we're not playing as well as we could be.
Have you written a letter to the coach yet?
I've not written a letter to Dana Altman, believe it or not.
I'll have him on the show and you can explain to
I
him
would
everything.
love to have him on the show. I think he's a little busy.
So
Yeah,
this show is pro Dane Altman.
we're pro Dana Altman, of course we are. All right, how you feel about those Duke boys though? Is UNC that game coming up soon?
That game is coming up soon. I'm actually going to Durham this weekend to
Fun.
watch the Clemson game at Duke. The UNC game is soon. The game's actually happening right now. Duke's playing Louisville. Louisville's trash. It's not a close game. But we lost a bad game last week without Jeremy Roach or Mark Mitchell. With them back, it's a different
Who'd you lose
team.
to?
Was it? I think it was.
Don't
Georgia
say
Tech.
St. John's.
No. Yeah, it was Georgia Tech.
It happens.
Or sorry, no, not Georgia Tech.
It was some school that hadn't beat Duke in like years.
Yeah. Was it? No, couldn't have
It
been.
was an NC State.
It was Pitt. Yeah.
It was Pitt.
Cape. Big win, Cape. But yeah, I don't know. With those guys, we're a different team. And Jeremy Roach is the most valuable player in the country. I don't know if he's being looked at for these awards in a serious way. But if you talk about value and how good the team is with and without him, I don't think it's questionable. He's not our high scorer, but without him, we have no offense. We struggle to flip the ball in good positions. We have nobody who can kind of just get a bucket the way he can when we need to. So we're a different team with him. I'm excited for that UNC game.
That should be fun. Yeah. I feel like this year, though, like some of like guys, like, like big name players. I feel like, at least in men's college basketball, like I can't think of like of a big, like, name player who's like dominating the country. Like it's not another Zion year. It's not another Anthony Davis year where like everyone knows their name.
Zach
You know that
Edey.
in women's basketball, there's plenty of those names, but like men's, it's not the same this year.
Hmm.
Like
I mean, Caitlin Clark obviously is just
she's so good.
yeah.
Like again, I'm biased. I think Sabrina's time was better when she played at Oregon, but like Caitlin Clark is very fun to watch.
Well, it's also just one of those things you see with NIL now. There's commercials with with her and Jimmy Butler together.
Yeah,
And so some company, I think this was probably a State Farm commercial. They said, "Okay, you know who we want? We want Jimmy Butler and we want Caitlin Clark. There is no one else that we want."
I mean they didn't want Aaron Rodgers.
Just gotta double check.
What if I feel like they don't. I haven't seen Aaron Rodgers in a State Farm ad recently. I feel like they cut ties with him
Yeah, it was probably
because
when
he,
he started talking about
claimed
doing
he was
drugs.
immunized. Again, like obviously we thank him for the memories in Green Bay, but we miss him at times,
Of
and we
course.
don't
And
miss him at times.
like, tell me that there's not much higher on your bucket list than doing ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers in the middle of the wilderness.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be so cool.
He would probably tell you some really weird things, but it'd be a lot of fun.
What do you think? What do you think? What are the top three things you think Aaron Rodgers would tell you? Oh, this is a new bit, new subject for the
New
show.
bit. All
Top
right.
three things Aaron Rodgers would tell you high on ayahuasca.
Something about like how vaccines don't work.
Okay.
Something about the woke mob coming after you, and then he starts tripping out because he's worried the trees aren't a woke mob. And then whatever Joe Rogan's talking about that day,
Whatever Joe Rogan's talking about.
because I'm pretty sure he's
What
an
if Joe
avid
Rogan is
listener.
there too, though?
What?
If Joe Rogan is there too, then you don't even have to worry about that.
I can't say I listen to a whole lot of Joe Rogan. I just know usually what he says go the opposite direction. Usually, that's what I've been told.
So you've been told. So you haven't heard anything that he says, but you just assume that everything he says is wrong because someone else told you that.
Sure, yes, but also the only time I ever saw Joe Rogan was on the Anthony Bourdain show where he went hunting with Joe Rogan in Montana.
No, I don't know. I like Joe Rogan. I think that you have to. He does some. He has really cool people on his call on
Yeah,
his
I've
call.
been told the interviews are a lot of fun, just like ours. Ours are pretty cool. We get
Yeah,
big name
they're just
people.
you have to like take everything for the context that it is. It depends on the context.
It does depend on the context, yes.
No, but like if he has on a Neil deGrasse Tyson and they're talking about astronomy and things like that,
But we
or
love
the
Neil
Earth and
deGrasse
how it's
Tyson.
moving. Yeah, those are types of things. He interviews everyone and just like brings different things to the table. So
I
I
don't
would
think I
love
could
to do
hang with
ayahuasca
Neil
with Joe
deGrasse
Rogan.
Tyson on the show.
You don't
If I
think
ever got anyone like notable, I'd have to do so much research. Like literally, my research today was like texting you, "Hey, do you want to do this?" and then checking the NBA standings to see who was first in the Western Conference. Because I know the Celtics are first in the East. I'm just like, are the Timberwolves still number one? Which they are.
Yeah,
Which
no, they're good.
Timberwolves are
I mean,
playing well, and they're gonna break Minnesota fans' hearts again. Well, they don't. Minnesota fans don't get heartbroken because they're just too nice, so they don't get heartbroken.
I'm sure that they get heartbroken. Maybe they
They
don't
do,
rage.
they do, but
They
like,
don't destroy their city when things go wrong, like you've seen in Philadelphia.
yeah, they don't do that, and they're such nice people. I feel like I've said it on the show, but like I have some friends who are like Timberwolves fans, and I'm like, so were you mad when Kevin Garnett went to the Celtics? They're like, we were just so happy that Kevin found a place and found a place to win, which good for Kevin.
Do you think it's possible this is selection bias and the people that you happen to know from Minnesota are really nice? Like, what if most people from Minnesota suck and you just know the three that are fine?
I mean, I know more than three.
Okay.
I know a decent amount of people from Minnesota actually.
I don't know the extent of your Minnesota knowledge, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I am fascinated by Minnesota. Like, as far as like states with the nicest people, I think number one might be Minnesota. I'd put North Dakota number two. Like, they just have really nice people. My mom like will tell anyone about my show. She loves tell and like people do check it out. So I do really well with the demographic of 50 to 65.
Oh, perfect. So,
I could see my Spotify stats.
oh, you have the stats on Spotify.
Yeah, well, you didn't get it
And
at
of
least like
those,
three listeners. Well, I mean, actually, there's more female viewers than male viewers according to Spotify.
That's an interesting
It
statistic.
it's really fun to dive down a rabbit hole because also sometimes you can kind of guess because like like one of my first episodes, it had one listener and it was male 60, 65. It was my dad because
Oh, it's not your mother.
I sent the link
All
because he was like super annoyed that he couldn't like set up YouTube like while driving because he wanted to listen while driving. So now we're on Spotify. Problem solved.
right, so Fred, this is supposed to be a sports podcast, right?
It is.
I want to hear some of your hottest sports takes for the rest of the season in NFL and in basketball.
All right. NFL, I think I think the Chiefs are gonna win. I really do. I know that's not like a hot take. I do have one thing to say about that. So people are like flipping out because they think if the Chiefs win, Taylor Swift's gonna dominate the Super Bowl. But here's the thing. She won't be there. She's got her Eras tour in Japan. She's gonna be nowhere near the Super Bowl. And everyone's like flipping their shit. And all you gotta do is like, no, she won't be there.
No, what if that's part of the allure and she's actually just going to be doing the halftime show?
So the thing is, they've asked her like multiple times. They asked her last year and they asked her this year. Last year she was training for the Eras tour, which by the way, do you know what she did to train for the Eras tour? It is impressive. I should try this myself.
What did she do?
She would go through the entire set list while running on a treadmill. So she would be on a treadmill for 3.5 hours.
Oh, I guess that makes sense because she's like dancing and stuff. She's moving
Yeah,
around.
slow down for the slower songs, speed up for the faster songs. I
Okay.
gotta try that. Unfortunately, I don't think it would be frowned upon if I started singing Taylor Swift at the top of my lungs at a
No,
Planet
smoke it out.
Fitness.
We want to hear it. Actually, here's the next bit on the show. Freddie sings Taylor Swift.
Wait, I actually have a funny story about what people were doing at Planet Fitness. I went to Planet Fitness yesterday and I was like, I noticed the guy in front of me like had his phone and it like appeared to be like home security camera footage of like a bedroom. I'm assuming it was his own. But
I
then he
would
like
assume-
noticed I like caught a peek and then he like starts going like this, like watching it really discreetly. And then
what
2 minutes later,
if
he gets up and dips. Appear like anyone was in the bedroom, from what I could tell. I think he was watching like his whole house because I could see like he zoomed out and there was like multiple cameras. So yes, all right, but yeah, so that's my sports take. Chiefs are probably going to win it. I think they know how to win. They have guys who know how to win, and they're going to figure it out.
All right, and this Lions team, do you think this Lions team, not even necessarily this year, do you think this Lions team has a championship in their future?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like one of the few other things we like want, like as a football fan, like you want to see. You want to see the Bills win. You want to see the Lions win. Like, yeah, I don't particularly like the Lions. I'm a bias. I'm a Packers fan, but like it would be cool to see them win. Like I won't deny that.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, with all these teams that you want to see win, chances are they're not all going to win one.
I mean, the
So
only two I really want to see win, other than the Packers, are like the Bills and like the Lions. That's really it at this point. Like,
you don't want to see Deshaun Watson come back out on top?
no, not particularly. No. Okay, you could maybe add the Browns. Historically, have been okay.
Yeah, no,
Not recently.
they had like a 10-year terrible span though, where they just had all of those atrocious quarterbacks.
They went for a lot of them. Johnny Manziel. Forget.
Mm-hmm.
What a time to be alive when everyone thought Johnny Manziel was the next big thing.
Johnny Manziel was the next big thing. We just thought it was football, and it's not football.
He just
he's just a
rages.
dude. He's just a
I
dude.
did read somewhere about Johnny Manziel that apparently when he was at A&M and he got pulled over for suspected DUI, the cop was a fan and was like, my apologies, Mr. Football. Let me give you a police escort home. Because he was like, I'm not going to be the fucker who arrests Johnny Manziel.
Hey.
All right, but so if the Chiefs are going to win it all, but I think they're going to beat. I think the Niners have it this time. I think it's going to be Chiefs Niners again.
Okay. And what about Jason Kelsey? Does he ever play another snap of football?
I mean, I don't. He might retire. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. I mean, he's had a great career.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because kind of a similar thing is going on that happened with Tom Brady, where he was seriously considering it and it got announced, and now it seems like he might be
But he
pulling
hasn't like
out.
has he formally announced it? Like Tom Brady
Um,
like straight up posted and like made a public statement saying I'm retiring from sport football, and then he realized how much he doesn't like his family, and then 3 months later was like, I'm back. Jason Kelsey seems to
maybe,
like his family.
or maybe what actually happened was Tom Brady said, "I want to spend more time with my family," and then his family said, "Hey, Dad, we hate you," and he's like, "All right, I guess I may as well play another year."
And it was, I mean, he had a fine year that year, but it just like it was weird. Like that he's just like, of course Tom Brady was gonna do 2 retirements.
That's what the greats do.
It
Don't
is
do it
what the
once,
greats
do it
do.
twice.
What does
And
he
multiple
do now?
championships,
Like
you have more-
what did he do last year? This
I'm
past
sure
year?
he took a year to mess around. He's gonna get paid millions of dollars to be a broadcaster next year.
I mean, good. I'll make up for all the money he lost in FTX.
Yeah, he needs it.
The fact that he like got into that, like he really liked that guy for some reason.
I mean, a lot of people did. He's not
Yeah, he's a
alone.
fucking weirdo.
Well, so you're
Obviously, we're an
anti
anti
FTX.
Sam Bankman Fried podcast.
Funny story about Sam Bankman-Fried. I was in a rec league basketball game a few weeks ago, and this was the day that Sam Bankman-Fried got convicted,
Mhm.
and I think it was the day he was convicted or whatever that was. And we were playing, and one of my friends kept chirping this guy on the other team, calling him Sam Bankman-Fried because he had like this Jufro thing going on, and the dude swung at him.
He really took that personally.
He really took it
It's like,
personally. Just calling
don't,
him Sam
don't
Bankman-Fried being
associate me with that guy. All right. Basketball takes. Finals. I think this is the year of Celtics make it to the finals. Do they win? I don't know. Who do they play? Western Conference is kind of up for grabs. That's the thing.
It's very much up for grabs. And
The
I don't
Eastern
think,
Conference is a little easier to kind of tell who the good teams are. Western, we really don't know.
yeah, but when something like that happens and it's really open,
Mm,
first off, I tend to look at teams that we know can do it. So I'll
like the
look at it.
Warriors,
I mean, the Warriors are pretty bad right now.
but
I'm looking
they
at
could do it.
they could do it if they stop sucking. But I
And
mean,
Draymond stops getting suspended.
it's not even that though. Like obviously, it's not helping the team that he hasn't been there and that uh, he's been a distraction.
Mm,
But that doesn't change the fact that Andrew Wiggins is having one of the worst seasons of his career.
mm,
He had like completely had a resurgence in Golden State that he hadn't played like that for the rest of his career, and he just has kind of fallen apart.
yeah,
Uh, the Warriors have made a string of bad decisions in the draft. Um, they could have had such a better team. They passed up on um, two bigs. One of them was Shengun, and the other one was I don't remember who the other one was.
still can't believe they drafted James Wiseman in 2020. What a waste.
Yeah, they thought they weren't wrong that they needed a big man. Like,
Yeah, and he was the right pick at the time. We just didn't realize it was going to be wasn't going to be very good.
I mean, yeah, I guess it was the right pick at the time, maybe, but it's also when someone comes out and is that untalented, then you say you just drafted a dude because he's tall, and
Yeah,
that's
pretty
really
much.
what it feels like. And it's annoying. It's annoying watching these guys who are not that good at sports just get millions of dollars just because they're tall. And in the meantime, I'm 5'11" as shit.
I mean, same. But remember, I was this height in like middle school, so that's why I was got picked first overall in basketball. Then they saw me play. Like if no one knew like had never seen me play, I would get picked like early on.
and
And
you suffer
then they
from
realized I
WCS,
couldn't do anything.
and you suffer from WCS, which is tough.
What is WCS?
White and can't shoot.
Yeah, pretty much. I can rebound though like a champ.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
big
I was
man.
really good at rebounding and nothing else. Oh, winning a tip off.
Yeah, that's an important
They would put me
first
in the
measure.
game to win a tip off.
It's helpful.
But yeah, I miss those days. My illustrious basketball career. Peaked in 8th grade, but it was fun. When
Yeah,
we played another school in the Jewish league where they were very tiny. And I just remember bodying dudes up, frog hook shots over them. And I was literally I was mid game. I was like, Dream,
Yeah,
and it
you
went in.
would.
That was the peak of my basketball career. I dropped 7 points.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Hey, my coaching career wasn't that bad either.
Yeah, did your middle school girls dunk on you in practice?
The boys did. Like, cause I think I like messed around with them once and like did a scrimmage with them and like, oh, I got dunked on.
How old
They're
are the
like,
kids?
oh, you're not that good at this. Sorry. And I'm like, nope. Like, I never said I
What did
was
I say? How
good.
did I do?
Yeah, I got me trying to play knockout with them. I couldn't shoot to save my life. But my shooting form needs a little work. I know
um,
your shooting form was always very good.
my form was, my shot was working.
Yeah.
It's great. The good thing is now I'm not too worried about getting hurt when I play, just because I don't move very fast anymore. So when you're not moving very fast, it's hard for anything to go wrong.
You gotta lay
Like
out the cat's deli.
exactly. If I'm walking up and down the court, like what's gonna happen to me?
Yeah, pretty much. No, I remember like when we were camp counselors and we would like run basketball together, you would just like play one on one with me to show all the kids how much better you were.
That was fun.
All right. So do you have a Western Conference take?
For this year,
Yeah, like who do you think like might like maybe Western Conference Finals because it's hard to pick a winner this year. I think like it really is wide open. I actually do think the Warriors could make a run. I really do.
I mean, it's always possible, but first
Nuggets.
off, yeah, my tendency is to go Nuggets. It feels like the T Wolves, I think, are great. I think Anthony Edwards has shown so much improvement, and I think a lot of that is due to playing on the Team USA and FIBA and being like the guy there.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't think he's ready. I don't think Shea and the Thunder are ready yet. Um, so then you got these teams like the Nuggets. I looked it up. I'm just looking at the standings right now. You got the 3, 4, 5 is Nuggets, Clippers, Suns.
I don't
Uh,
think it's gonna be the Clippers. There's no scenario where the Clippers make it.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. I think it's got to be the Nuggets. And again, I don't
Maybe
think
the
that
Suns, maybe, but like the Clippers, like because Kawhi's got to do his load management at some point.
unless load management was what hurt him.
Like,
You
it
know,
could.
when these guys are playing all the time, I mean, I think it should be load management in terms of minutes is what's more important. I think it's good to be getting game reps
Mhm.
in all the time. And they just, if you look at their roster, and I know a lot of these guys are washed by this point or semi-washed, but it's crazy how many like MVPs they have on this roster or MVP caliber players.
Yeah, they have Russ, Kawhi, Paul George. Who else they have? I don't know.
Hard,
I've been
hard.
to. Oh, they have Harden. I keep on.
Yeah.
I I remember talking about it on the show when that was happening, and I've completely forgot that James Harden plays for the Clippers.
Yeah. So they're good. But again, I don't see who in the Western Conference is going to stop Jokic in the playoffs.
Again, he's unstoppable.
Yeah. And
Because
and again, these teams, the T Wolves, Cats, or I guess you're gonna hope that Gobert can do something against him, but Jokic is too good in the perimeter. And then Chet's not ready to guard Jokic in a playoff series. It's just I don't see who stops him, and I don't know. Embiid is so good in the regular season, and Jokic always takes another step up in the playoffs.
yeah,
Uh, he's just too busy dealing with horses for the rest of the season.
he
This
loves
dude,
his
it's a day job
horses.
for him. It's a day job for him. He shows up, he goes to work, he scores 40 points and gets 20 rebounds. He embarrasses some dudes,
And then he
goes
goes
home.
rides his horses. I'm
Exactly.
shocked that like he's a big dude. Like I'm shocked the horse can like hold him.
No, I think he mostly watches horses. I don't know if I've
Like
never
does he?
seen him
I
on.
know he used to ride, but I think he got too big.
I am not jealous of that horse trying to carry his ass around.
I'm. I bet there's a horse that can hang with Jokic.
Yeah, like the most jacked horse on the planet.
Yeah, I know, but there's some jacked horses out there. I've never
Yeah.
been big on riding horses, actually, though.
How much time have you spent looking up jacked horses?
Can't say I've spent a lot.
Hmm.
All right, favorite type of horse? Go.
Mule.
You're a mule guy. Mule's half
Yeah,
horse, half donkey.
exactly.
I rode a mule once.
It's kind of ass, just like you.
I rode a mule once.
You rode a mule once.
So I think I want to say this was like in Yosemite, California. We went mule riding, and they had to show like a safety video. It was like the most. I was 8, and they showed the most terrifying safety video where they were like, "Your animal has a mind of its own. It might try to throw you off, but don't worry, there are a lot of rocks and trees to break your fall." I'm like, and A. Romy was like, "Oh, is this horse gonna try to like throw me off?" No, the horse was very well trained. It didn't throw me off. It was incredibly boring, but
Okay,
it
well,
really scared me there.
you turned a very fun story into something I'm no longer interested in, Freddie. Congratulations.
To mules. If I had to pick a horse,
No,
Appaloosa, obviously.
I don't know anything about this horse. Please
I
inform
don't
me.
know anything about Appaloosa either. I just like the name.
What about an Arabian stallion?
Maybe a Clydesdale. Good old
I'm out of
Clydesdale.
horses. I'm out of horses. That's all the horses I know.
Yeah, I don't know too many species of horses either. I just thought you might know one if you do. The mule
The mule. It's kind of a horse.
or a donkey. I've ridden a donkey as well, actually.
You've
The
ridden a
donkey
donkey.
threw me off. It was like a Western movie where my foot gets caught in the saddle and it drags me. We went a good 10 feet before it stopped. Yeah, I thought I was gonna try to shoot some outlaws.
Some outlaws?
Yeah, like a
I'm
Western.
you're losing me, Freddie.
I felt like I was in a Western movie. That's like a classic Western movie thing.
Okay. I need to watch more westerns.
I can't say I watched too many of them. I mean, what is a good Western? The good, the bad, the ugly.
I
Bam.
mean, Western is kind of, in my mind, by this point, Western isn't just about cowboys and stuff. Western is just kind of a type of show
Yeah,
where
Yellowstone's a Western.
not Yellowstone's Western, but even things like Mandalorian is a Western.
In a sense.
It follows the same cadence of a Western.
We love Pedro Pascal on the show, by the way.
We're pro Pedro Pascal.
Of course, we're pro Pedro Pascal.
Well, it's you know, you got to clarify these things.
We do like his work on the show. I mean, The Last of Us, great show.
Mm-hmm.
I still try to play the video game, but it scares me too much.
I've never played. I really want to, especially after watching the show.
It's a lot more zombies in the game because it is a zombie apocalypse.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that they made an active effort not to make the show just him
Yeah, I
shooting
know,
zombies.
because again, in the game, the zombies are just obstacles.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what the show Walking Dead is.
Yeah,
It's just it's just the entire thing. It's here we're killing zombies. Oh, let's go kill zombies over here. Oh wow, we're going back and guess what? There's a zombie there. Let's kill it.
remember when you guys like used to like talk about The Walking Dead in the camp group chat, and like myself would be like, I haven't watched it yet. Stop talking. And then I would like make up a fake spoiler. Be like,
um,
no, Rick died.
well, that's kind of a spoiler.
My
I'm
bad.
kidding.
I've never seen the show.
Have you never seen the show? I
No,
don't know if he's dead. They left it. They left it on a very weird middle ground. I think the actor just wanted to leave. So,
I can't say I've ever watched The Walking Dead.
well, spoiler alert for myself.
Yeah, because he's a huge fan of the show.
That's one of those shows where I watched all of it, but after season like 4, I was so ashamed of myself for continuing to watch it. And there's 19 seasons or something.
There's 19. No way. I thought it was like 10.
It might be 10. Maybe it was like 20 episodes a season.
I'm curious now.
Whatever it was way too many. You're right. It was 11 seasons.
What you
And
get? I mean, it depends on the
20
show.
hour-long episodes a season.
Yeah. I mean, some shows just do that. Grey's Anatomy's still going.
Yeah, I spent multiple days of my life watching a show that I didn't even like.
But you
You know,
kind of wanted to keep watching it, so that's how they get you.
I just wish I had a synopsis of everything that happened that I could just read
There's
into.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, but then
That's what I do with horror movies, by the way.
you're
Pro move. for listeners out there who don't like horror movies but are forced to watch them, like me occasionally, you go to Wikipedia, you read the synopsis. Usually they do a pretty good job. Usually is the keyword. They did miss out on a scary scene of Quiet Place, though.
The first one or second?
Oh, the first one. The second one, I didn't read the synopsis because I really liked the first one, so I just watched the second one.
I haven't seen the second one yet, but the first one was pretty good.
But the Wikipedia synopsis neglected to mention. Remember that scene where like that old like man like comes out and screams and a monster kills him, and it's kind of creepy. They neglected to mention that in the synopsis. They had a scene by scene description. They forgot to mention that one.
Okay, if it's a scene by scene, then that's stupid.
I may have screamed like a little girl.
I wish I could have seen that.
Yeah, but it's not a pretty sight.
That scene had nothing to do with the plot whatsoever.
Yeah, it really did. All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. You're always welcome back. Thanks for being our second 3-time listener. Always great having you on. All right. Thanks, Spiera. All right. So I know that interview, we recorded it about a week ago. But hey, I got my Super Bowl right. I predicted in that interview that it was going to be 49ers Chiefs, and I was right. So that was pretty cool. So we're going to do an actual Super Bowl preview next week. We're hoping to get my good friend and returning or past guest, Eli Hearn next week. But I do have some initial thoughts. I think this game's going to be close. 49ers have a bunch of great players, and they seem like they have a better team on paper. However, they don't have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes finds ways to win big games. It's going to be a fun game. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to talk a lot about it next week in more depth. But I just thought I would give you my initial thoughts. That is our show for this week. Hopefully, we'll be back normal time next week. Thank you for watching. Big Fred, over and out.